Hi, I'm Marci Kobayashi, and I'm back again with another excerpt from my book, Finding Yoyu. And if you're not familiar with the term Yoyu, it's Japanese, and you can find another video here on the channel that talks about what it means. It's called Do You Have Yoyu? But my book is a memoir about something that happened about 6 years ago now, and it was when my mother-in-law and father-in-law came to live with us in Tokyo. My mother needed help. She was having surgery and needed help recovering. My father-in-law, we discovered, had Alzheimer, so he needed help. My husband discovered he had stage 3 colon cancer, so he needed a lot of help. And I was trying to go through a career change and find myself and needed a lot of help along the way too. And this particular excerpt, ironically, happens almost exactly 6 years ago. So this week is my birthday, and I'm turning 50. And this excerpt happens to be around the same time as my birthday back then. So you'll get to find out what happened. Let me jump right in. Our trips in May had overlapped, so by the time Akira got back from his business trip late on the 31st, it had been 3 weeks since we had seen each other. Oto-san arrived back home the same day, only a few hours earlier. He had spent the last week with Akira's brother. Exhausted but in good spirits, Akira had the next day off, and we planned to visit Oka-san in the morning. But unfortunately, we could only stay for a short time because Oto-san didn't want to join us, and we didn't want to leave him alone for long. Oka-san had been in the nursing home for barely a week, so when we got off the elevator on the second floor, Akira was surprised to see his mother sitting up in a wheelchair watching TV with the other residents. She didn't talk much, but everyone saw Oka-san's face light up when she realized who was wheeling her away from the TV and over to the lounge for visiting. We stayed for an hour and promised to visit the following Sunday again. Oka-san didn't complain when we wheeled her back to the TV, though her eyes no longer sparkled. Even though I felt terrible walking away, I already knew this nursing home was a good fit for Oka-san. On the drive home, we couldn't stop talking about how much happier she seemed. The difference after only 1 week was phenomenal, and probably because she was no longer being treated as a sick person. Instead, she was sitting up, wearing real clothes, responding to our questions, and even smiling. We learned from the doctor that from day 1, they started weaning Oka-san off of any unnecessary prescriptions. She went from 18 prescriptions down to 3. Yep, she was in a good place. I couldn't say the same for myself. I was in a dark place. Probably a combination of hormones and stress, and maybe even the dreariness of the rainy season that comes every June in Japan. Day after day, I caught myself waking up with ugly thoughts, so I spent many early mornings meditating and writing, trying to make sense of what I was feeling and what to focus on next. I couldn't find common ground with Akira, and living together was miserable. He reacted in such a negative way to everything, especially when his father was in the room. At least Akira seemed to enjoy going to the university, seeing his students, and teaching. Being able to get out and away from Oto-san was an outlet for him. I was jealous of the clarity he had around his work. I didn't mind being with Oto-san, but wanted to move forward with my business and felt stuck. Akira had always been my mentor. Now, whenever I asked his advice or tried to talk about my business, what used to be our business, we ended up arguing. One morning, I sat on the bed watching him get dressed. I knew it was bad timing, but asked his advice about a project I was trying to bid for. I thought he would have an opinion because it was related to study abroad, his field of interest. However, my proposal had more to do with websites and social media than study abroad itself. I sat on the bed long after he left the room. We didn't argue that day, but I knew I could no longer ask him for business advice. We were working in different fields now. Instead of asking Akira, I started asking myself. Every morning I continued to meditate, writing out my questions and any messages coming through from my spiritual guides. Ironically, the clearest message coming through regarding my business was, Get your mind out of your head and take action on something. And so I did. I started prioritizing my tasks, took action every day, and surrounded myself with other entrepreneurs. I even enrolled in an online course that was kicking off on my birthday. And then, Akira forgot my birthday. He didn't say anything in the morning, and that didn't surprise me. It was Thursday, which meant he had to leave early for classes at the university. I kept quiet because I was sure he would realize and then send me a text or call at some point later in the day. At lunch, we texted back and forth, but he didn't say anything about my birthday. I knew I shouldn't care. I was 44, not 4. It's not that I expected a big present. I simply wanted him to notice. All I wanted was for him to remember and say, "Happy birthday." At 6 p.m., I opened the refrigerator and stared. On Thursdays, Akira didn't get home until after 7. He hadn't said anything about going out, and by the time he got home, it would be too late anyway, so I went ahead and made dinner. I thought back to the previous summer when I celebrated my birthday in Hiroshima. I had been with Otosan that summer. Now he was here with me. Not much had changed, and everything had changed. Last year, I was married to a 62-year-old. Now I felt like that man was gone, and I was married to his 87-year-old father instead. I tried not to give it too much importance, but I felt neglected. I knew Akira was busy too. I knew he had a lot on his mind, but so did I. Was I angry? No, not angry. Disappointed? I was disappointed. With the table set and everything ready to go, I sat down and scanned Facebook while waiting for Akira to get home. My sister Michelle posted a birthday wish, and as I started to respond, I saw a comment from Akira. He had finally noticed that it was my birthday. I sat there quietly and observed. Now did I feel angry? No. I felt a rush of grief. I felt so sorry for him. I imagined how awful he must have felt in that moment when he realized it was my birthday and that he had forgotten. Then I felt sad. Not sad that Akira had forgotten. I knew that in the grand scheme of things, my birthday didn't matter. Instead, I felt sad that we were both so wrapped up in our own affairs that we weren't noticing each other. I glanced at the clock, put my phone aside, and got up to reheat the miso soup, knowing he would walk in the door any minute. A few minutes later, I heard the front door open and close. "I didn't buy you anything," Akira said as he put his keys in the dish next to the telephone. "It's okay. I wasn't expecting anything." I turned back to the stove and started dishing up the soup. "No, I mean I didn't buy you anything on the way home from the station because I didn't want you to think I was trying to buy something last minute to make up for forgetting." I glanced over and tried to smile. "I know. It's okay. Really, it is. I was upset earlier, but I'm okay now." Akira nodded, heading for the bedroom to change out of his work clothes. Akira must have been worried that I wasn't being honest because he brought it up again while we did the dishes. "This weekend, we can go out and eat anywhere you want." "I can't think of anywhere I really want to go right now." "Wait, I know. I want a date with our cell phones. I want a date without our cell phones. And I want to tell you about my visit to the U.S. I beamed, feeling excited for the first time all day. "You already did that," Akira frowned as he handed me the frying pan to dry. "No, I mean about my visit with Barbara and Aaron." Akira knew about the girls' trip I took to Florida because I had sent him photos every day while I was there. However, I didn't fly directly to Florida. To save money, I flew standby from Japan to Michigan, where my sister lives. I ended up arriving a day ahead of schedule. With an unexpected extra day on our hands, she asked if there was anything special I wanted to do. I could only think of one thing. I really wanted to meet with our mentor and dear friend Barbara. Barbara had been channeling for many years. I wanted to ask Aaron, the being she channeled, about what I was doing every morning with my meditation and automatic writing. Unbelievably, the following day, the day I was originally scheduled to arrive in Michigan, was the only time Barbara had available that month. Thank you, universe. I had been waiting for the right time to share with Akira what had happened when I met with Barbara. When I explained all this to Akira, he agreed to my cell phone-free date. The way he answered, I wasn't sure how thrilled he was, but I felt like fate had taken over and I was getting the best birthday present after all. The following Sunday, the day of our date, Oto-san was enjoying an old western on TV. He loved the movie channel, especially when the movies were subtitled. He would watch the dubbed-over movies too, but usually fell asleep. If there were subtitles, he would stay awake and watch movies for hours. We left him in front of the TV with bean buns and coffee and slipped out to a restaurant to celebrate my birthday, just the two of us. After lunch, I pulled out the transcript from my session with Barbara and Aaron. I was nervous. I hadn't told Akira much about what I was writing every morning. Akira knew my mentor Barbara, and we had even had a session together with Aaron. Akira had also translated for Barbara and Aaron when she visited Japan. I knew Akira was open to channeling, but I had no idea how he would feel about me channeling. Okay, we'll leave it there for today, and I want to assure you that every year since, Akira has remembered my birthday, and it has become a big, endearing family joke for everyone, and I still can't believe that happened, and neither can he. But it did, and this week we'll be celebrating my birthday again. So, and I think this video will probably come out about the time of my birthday. So anyway, I hope you're enjoying the story, and I'll be back again next week with the next excerpt. Bye for now.